Yeah. So, Jai Hind everyone. My name is Faraaz. I'm the co-founder of a company called Kalam Labs. We are a stratospheric aerial laboratory. We have primarily what we have done is that we have made world's highest UAV. It is deployed at around 30,000 meters of altitude using high altitude polyethylene balloons. So it does not start off from a runway, but from an extreme peak of the edge of space. And once at that particular altitude, it goes off deep into the enemy territory, around 100, 200 kilometers inside, evading all the anti-drone systems to carry forward its kamikaze or ISR missions. Indian Army has been extremely supportive and helpful for us. CS Mansar had invited us directly up to meet him and to demonstrate the particular product and carry it forward under ADB. Apart from that, Central Command has already procured the same. So that is what Kalam Labs is. However, I want to take your time for something more deeper into that. And that is this one simple fact. And that is that any war, I mean, first of all, I would like to I would like to be cognizant of my inexperience into this field and in front of all you, but I will share my opinions nonetheless. And that opinion is that when India gets into war, it needs to win the war in 2 weeks. While US fights the war for 20 years in Vietnam and Afghanistan, that's a privilege which India just does not have. Owing to its political opinions or its citizens' mindset, we end wars quickly. As can be seen in everything, 1971 war was ended in 13 days, Operation Sindoor 2 weeks, Kargil about 1.5 months. Now, if that is the objective, that if we have to end the war quickly, then it is not enough to indigenize. It is not at all enough to just create something which has already been created, because then the same outcome would emerge. We cannot come for soldier to soldier, tank to tank, cannot be drone to drone, right? We need to be 10 times better than our adversaries. But how do we do that? So that's something which I want to cover. I'll show a short video for this. Now, this is our UAV being deployed at around 100,000 plus feet, 30-kilometer altitude. I would like to point out that Operation Sindoor UAVs were happening at 4 to 5-kilometer altitude. Obviously, that's the public knowledge. Now, once it's deployed at literally the edge of space, higher than U2, higher than SR-71, it uses just sheer altitude so as to gain velocities of up to 890 kmph and fly higher than U2 SR-71. It is flying at those altitudes that even S-400 might have issues in making it come down. And it weighs just under 4 kg. So very cheap, very light. It can provide you ISR, it can give you kamikaze, it can even give you nuclear field testing, some weather monitoring as well. So that, and obviously precision landing, changed pre-programmed flight paths, you can change the flight paths in between, you can change the RCS connection in between, you can cut off its connection, make it run autonomously, whatever you want. So that is a kind of technology which changes the game. It changes the way UAVs are being flown, it changes the basic expectations of our enemy. Coming back to the presentation real quick. So yeah, coming back to it. And it's not some pipeline big project. This is something which is a reality right now. We have an EOIR payload fitted ISR UAV currently being deployed at the Indochina LOC with Central Command. And we have a kamikaze UAV ready. And we are able to achieve costs which just beat up the market. Our kamikaze UAV costs around 2 lakh rupees per piece, right? So you can just keep on launching swarms and swarms and swarms, and even if they have S-400 type anti-aircraft systems, then they will just run out of money. So yeah, that is the basic thing, and obviously the temperatures of stratosphere most resemble the temperatures, the conditions of Mars, but our UAVs fly through that. So yeah, that is primarily what it is. Apart from this, we have gone for other stuff as well. We have made cheap swarms of nanodrones. So basically with our own flight controller, which cost just around $3. So these nanodrones can be flown up in huge amounts of swarms, saturate the entire enemy, not carry any payloads or something, but perhaps some particular just confusion amongst behind the enemy lines. And apart from this flight controller can be configured on bigger UAVs as well. So just to point out that if something bigger is required, but with very little amount of configuration, then these particular cheap flight controllers, completely indigenized, made like assembled and manufactured inside, however with some chips, STM like, which are procured from Europe, you can have $3 flight controllers and very cheap swarms attacking the enemy lines. We have other stuff. We have gone forward, as many of the speakers have pointed out before. Ukraine had launched an attack on the Russian forces using its own FPV drones. So through that only, inspired by that, we have made optical fiber controlled multi-rotors as well, which are able to execute at different altitudes. They have already been flown at 3,000 meter AMSL. They are able to transmit video and RC connection, irrespective of how much rich their electronic warfare is, by the sheer nature that the transmission is happening through fiber optic cables. So now that has been indigenized as well. So I have talked about all of these things. Now with the remaining time, I want to bear with you some imagination for our R&D products. As I talked about right now, that it is not enough to create just systems which are already been prepared outside, like the optical fiber control drones that I've talked about. This already exists, even the particular nano drones that I talked about. We need to dream and think bigger. And that is where this R&D stuff comes in. Basically, what is this? This is a R&D pipeline project which we are also currently pitching to the Indian Air Force. Here the objective is simple. You deploy the UAV at 30 kilometers and then use the altitude drop to give it extreme speeds around Mach 1, Mach 1.2. But no, you don't stop there. You use something called ramjet engine. Now, as you all may know, ramjet engine has a nuance that it gets turned on only at very, very high speeds. So typically, products like SR-71 have been using turbojet engines in order to achieve this speed and then turn on the ramjet engine. But that is very tough. But here what we have to do is, we achieve the speed just through altitude drop and then turn on the ramjet engine. Obviously, it's a very tough product, very tough to execute and very expensive one as well. But if achieved, you will be having Mach 2, Mach 2.5 supersonic UAVs cruising at 18 to 20 kilometers with ranges of 600, 800 kilometers. Right? We can cover up the entirety of our neighbors, at least the best ones. Right? So that is a particular product which is currently in the pipeline right now. We are working on it. Yeah, more than that, we are under obviously the extreme support of Navy. We are also building upon a multi-day endurance maritime system, which is as simple as that, a maneuverable balloon. So instead of having HAPs, which are like solar-powered big fixed-wing planes, which I haven't, which is tough to see deployed out in the fields, it's a maneuverable balloon which can stay for multi-days, be assigned a particular location, and look up into the ports and to the territories of our adversaries. So those are the kind of R&D pipeline products that Kalam Labs is currently undertaking. So now with the thank you, I want to point out some facts for this particular audience. Just like Kalam Labs, you can see a plethora of different companies downstairs. Right now, what India needs is not just procurement. India needs companies like Bell Labs and Skunk Works. We need to be dreaming big. Unless the products that you are procuring, they are not failing, that means the products that are being procured are not ambitious enough. So I would urge everybody here to take a chance on suo motu proposals, to take a chance on ambitious projects, so that we also can have our own U2s, SR-71s, and ARPANET up from India. So that's my short thoughts. Thank you so much for listening.